In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 115.
I can look it up. Oh,
It's okay, I'm pretty sure it's 115.
it's somewhere 115.
Yep. See? I didn't need to look it up, just happened. Alright. Anyway, yeah, so we are on to the round of 32 for our wheeled bracket.
16.
Yeah.
Round of 16, we have 32.
Oh, round of 16. There are already 32. Why
Yes.
did I always think it was 64-32? I
Maybe
guess.
because I sent you a bunch of files that said R32.
Hey, yeah, sure. All right. Anyway, so starting with the top left of our bracket, which was nicknamed the Grip region, just for some fun.
Fabric reasons.
Yeah. So our first matchup is Duquesne and
The one-seeded Duquesne,
the 9-seeded
Cal
CSU
State U Fullerton.
Fullerton.
It took a
So,
long time to color match.
yeah.
These self-teaching software is not fun always.
Yeah, so let's just get on it with it. And hopefully you will just jot them down.
Yeah, I should probably do that this time.
Anyway, so the lower seed wins, which is CSU Fullerton.
All right. I want Spotify. All right,
Well,
so you see Fullerton, the 9 seed, wins the first one.
yeah. Then we got the 12 and the 4 seed, which are Monmouth and
And Davidson.
Davidson. One of our Jersey teams. You know how much we love that place.
Sure. It's a great place to leave.
Yeah. And out of this one, the lower seed wins.
Again. So it's Monmouth. Moving on to the round of 16. Am I supposed to have stats up there? So I was gonna have,
I
I
don't
think I said
remember.
I was gonna have stats up,
I
but
don't
it just
remember.
seems like such a daunting thing to actually do.
Yeah. Then we have our next matchup. I think we can speedrun it and then we can talk some stats later if we want.
I
Uh,
have this laid up. But yeah, we'll
which
move.
is Canisius and Quinnipiac.
It brings me great joy to know that at the very least, what we get out of this podcast is the fact that I've taught you how to pronounce things, and I say that as I stutter through the word pronounce.
Hey, I will learn how to pronounce it for this bracket, and then you'll probably have to teach me again next year.
You know, there's not enough schools that could fold up in time for us to, get to them all. So,
All right, we got our
all
first
right,
higher seed.
and that would be Canisius.
Yeah.
So it'll be the gift that keeps giving in the form of you learn how to do something through repetition. And this is John's way of learning pronunciation is through
Yeah.
constantly putting a theme through.
Yeah, and finally we have the 7 and 15 seed, Bryant and New Mexico.
All right.
Yeah. Nice little segues with some graphics packages.
Oh yeah. Make it worth my while.
And again, we have the lower seed.
That would be New Mexico.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, in real life, they made an 11 seed. We weren't far off with a 15 seed. But then
Ah.
again, we don't decide everything.
Yeah, you mean
New Mexico ended up being 26-10. And they bounced in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
yeah.
But
So
not ours.
not ours. Definitely not
It
ours.
was not ours.
Yeah, so on to the next half of the bracket, which will start from the top again, but this time we have the 16 seed and the 9 seed.
So we have Temple and UC, or I'm sorry, Temple and Akron.
Temple and Akron.
And what will we have? By the way, I love the fact that it took so long to figure out. People who either will or won't watch because our numbers suck. But if anybody does watch, like that graphics package, as it fades out, there's like a color line. And I was trying to get it from red to like something in our logo. And I think I looked inside of every component possible in the file and eventually finally got it. And I am so happy about it.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. So we have for the second quarter starting out, we have the higher seed moving on.
That would be not Temple,
No,
Akron.
Akron.
Akron ends up being 24-11.
Okay.
And Temple was 16-20, so it makes sense.
Yeah, fair. All right, on to Virginia and Pepperdine. As you can see here, which are our next matchup. How did these two teams do, by the way?
Virginia ended up 23-11 and then made the NCAA tournament and made everybody gouge their eyes out with the worst offense in the world. And then it was Virginia versus Pepperdine, you said?
Yep.
Pepperdine ended up being 13-20 and probably didn't sniff a tournament at all.
Yeah, so higher seed wins this one.
Of course, only fair. It's
Yeah,
Pepperdine.
of course. And then we have Vermont and New Orleans.
Vermont, the 6 seed, New Orleans, the 14. It's so weird talking about New Orleans in a basketball sense, like a college basketball sense.
Yeah, I
'Cause,
know,
like,
right?
truthfully, a city like that you'd think actually has more of one, but
All right, well, we got higher seed again.
higher seed again. So that would not be New Orleans, that would be Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
Vermont made the tournament in real life. They moved some windows around here. Vermont was 28-7 in New Orleans. If I could stop typing commas instead of M's. New Orleans was 10-23. So right now the wheel picking on the side of realism.
Yeah, which hey, all power to it, right?
I mean the way our energy is in our recording right now, like being very plain, it kind of works that way.
Yeah,
Very straightforward to the point.
yeah. All right, and to another New Jersey school again, our absolute
The
favorite,
Raiders.
Ryder and Iowa State.
Yeah.
What do you got for these two?
Well, Iowa State was a 2 seed in real life, and we have them as a 15. So you know,
Yeah, well,
we actually have them on like the other side of the same matchup, which might be the closest to seeding correctly as we ever have.
yeah.
Um, Iowa State was 29-8 and Ryder was 15 and 17.
All right, so higher seed wins this one again.
And that would be Ryder. So now we immediately go back on our word, and it's exact opposite of what we said.
Yeah,
Instead of logic and reality, we flip the switch.
definitely. Yeah, so busting through these again, we're at the the top of the second half, which would be another one seed that made it through, George Mason and Iowa. Yeah, I like the flashing kind of stuff that goes on in this one.
Yeah. The only thing I have with that one is like it kind of like moves the same way each time. The other one also moves the same each time, but kind of like peels across and leaves your screen like with different things.
Right.
I don't know. I'm overanalyzing this more probably.
Yeah, so here we have another higher seed. Man, the
And that
wheel is
means it will be George Mason,
yeah,
who ended up being 20 and 12 and 9 and 9 in conference.
right. Yeah, but the wheel is not like in the lower seed today. Uh
No.
no. And then we
I
have
mean, much like actual March Madness, eventually
mhm.
when you have all these upsets in early rounds like we saw this year, then it's like the second round is kind of like, well, they all died.
Yeah, so then we have Buffalo and
We have Buffalo and wait, let's go back to the bracket, I guess.
yeah, we will we'll find out who wins, which is it Buffalo? Oh, come on. Come on, lower seed. Oh, lower seed.
Buffalo. All right.
That doesn't
So
matter.
this
Only
is
Buffalo
the
matters.
yes, and only Buffalo matters because remember they are the worst team that we have in here.
Yep.
4 and 27 overall, 2 and 16 in conference. They probably did not deserve to lose another game in the conference tournament. Probably did
Yep.
not deserve to make the trip.
Yeah, and Grand Canyon was the team they faced, and they probably were literally the opposite in record.
Yeah, yeah. Grand Canyon was pretty good. They ended up being 30 and 5, and they did win a game in March Madness as the 12 seed,
Okay.
and then immediately lost.
Hey, so we have them going out the second round. What do you
Oh
know?
yeah. Well, I mean, they made the wait, whoa, whoa. We had them exactly same output as they did in real life.
Yeah.
We had them win a game and then lose, which
Yep.
again might be a milestone achievement for us as being the most accurate we've ever done with this.
Yeah. All right. Then we have Notre Dame and Columbia.
Notre Dame was horrible, I can tell you that. They were 13 and 20. Columbia was 13 and 14, which I don't understand how one team has 7 more games, but
Yeah, I guess, but the higher seed wins this one.
all right, the 13 and 20 Notre Dame it is then.
Yeah. And yeah, to round it out, we have Clemson and
And
Hampton.
Hampton. Clemson, they just got bounced recently. They ended up being 24 and 12, I think, made the Sweet 16 and then lost. Or was it Elite Eight and then lost? Elite Eight, and then
Elite
they
Eight.
lost to Alabama.
All right, and again, a higher seed
So it's
takes
going to
it.
be Hampton instead. And Hampton was 9 and 24.
Yep.
So, there you go. If your colors are blue and white and you have less than 10 wins on the season, you've moved on in this bracket.
Yeah, which is good for you. All right, and then we have.
That's like some Elias Sports Bureau kind of like this that could never happen twice kind of
Yeah,
criteria.
yeah. And then we have the beginning of our last quadrant, which is
I like that word,
UTSA
quadrant.
and Penn.
UTSA was 11-21, and Penn was 11-18, so two 11-win teams.
Yep. Two 11-win teams, but again, the bracket says that UTSA is better.
Sure, I'll believe it.
Oh, I mean, you have to believe it. Higher seed win.
All right, UTSA moving on to the third round
Yeah.
or fourth round, whichever the NCAA is going off of now, because we're just ripping off their product.
Yeah, and then we
Although
have
they didn't invent brackets where you just ripped
no,
off their model.
no, they didn't. All right, we have Oklahoma State and American. Anything to say about these two teams?
I completely blacked out for a second.
Just like the screen.
Oklahoma State was 12-20,
But
and instead it's going to be. Oh no, it is going to be
it's going to
Oklahoma
be
State.
Oklahoma State. American was the
All
higher
right,
seed.
American was
Probably like
16-16.
16 and 16. Yep.
When in doubt, even out.
Yep. I mean, they had to play one more game, I was assuming. So, yeah. And now we have UIC and UT Arlington.
All right, UIC. UIC was 12-21. UT Arlington was 20-14, and I think almost made it.
Well, UIC it is.
All right, it's going to be the 12-21 UIC.
I think teams with blue and white having less than
Blue.
and having almost 10 wins or less, but now this guy has 12 wins and they made it.
Sure. I mean, we can always adjust the goalpost to anything under 15
Fair. And last but
and get a 20-game winner, anyone under 20.
certainly not least, it's Tulsa and Iona.
All right, so Tulsa was 16-15. Iona was 16-17 because they're not coached by Rick Pitino anymore.
Yep. And lower seed wins with this one, which is
Tulsa.
Tulsa.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, they basically both had close to the same record.
Yeah, I mean, look, we really fired through these. There's not a lot of takeaways that you can really have in a fictitious tournament.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is there anything else that's on your mind sports wise?
No, except for NHL playoffs is happening in what, 2.5 weeks or so?
Yeah, actually, let's dig into that a little bit. Because can you explain to me why the Pittsburgh media is like trying to get people to think that the Penguins still have a chance, even though, like, if they make the playoffs, their first round pick goes to San Jose or something, and like, why are they trying to win?
I don't know, man. I'm just excited for playoff hockey.
Like, I can actually say I don't think I've paid any attention to the Penguins in months now. And
Hmm.
switching to the Pirates basically felt like I was going from the Steelers to the Pirates instead of the Penguins in between.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm pretty sure you could just forget about the hockey season for you.
yeah, I don't know. The fact that they're 6 games out of a wild card spot seems like they're never going to try to die in time. Like they
Yeah,
really should, because they're closer to, cement in the lottery than it is to like actually making the playoffs. And
yeah,
I don't understand what they're trying to achieve this year.
yeah. So I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll pick it up when it becomes playoff hockey. It's kind of set in stone by now.
Are the Devils going to make it?
Uh,
I saw,
I
I
kind of
saw
like.
today the Flyers are trying to hype up a 27-year-old goaltender that just got brought up to the show.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because like he's 27. I don't think he's actually going to be the. You guys hyped up Carter Hart pretty good too, and he turned out to be garbage.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's just at least I am looking forward to playoff hockey. That's about it, though. You got
Yeah,
anything?
the NHL. I mean, overall, the playoff hockey is so good, but boy, was it a tough look to see today that like Caitlin Clark has more Instagram followers than Connor McDavid. It just screams how bad the NHL is at growing. Is
Yeah.
that there's a nothing against women's college basketball, but like an a quote unquote student athlete amateur has gained more marketing attention
Then the
than the
best player in
league's best
hockey.
player.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that one's tough to swallow for the NHL.
Yep. All right.
And yeah,
Well.
we have the real Final Four going on. You know, finally got to see one of my schools make it. So Purdue's in there. NC State with their little bit of a Cinderella run as an 11 seed. They
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have made the tournament at all if they didn't win the ACC tournament on top of it.
Yep.
Um, and then on the other side, Alabama's a 4 seed that made it. And the final one, and I think the one that everybody's expecting to like just dominate everything going forward is UConn.
Yep.
Because every other 1 seed played a tough game somewhere along the line, and UConn is beating everybody by like 20 plus.
Yeah.
So I
Definitely.
think it's
Definitely.
hard to see anybody, like I say this as a Purdue fan, it's hard to see UConn losing to any of these teams.
Yep. Definitely.
Um, so just trying to, for me personally, enjoy the moment while it's still there. Because I'm guessing that 50-50 chance of Purdue getting humiliated in the title game. So yeah,
Yeah. Well. Yeah, this was a quick one. Next time we'll be back with more of the bracket and hopefully a little teaser into NHL playoffs.
yeah. I think I got NHL graphics packages. We can work that in.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.